I've been reflecting on Joker too.
Yeah.
And I think people were a little harsh on it. I don't think it was anything spectacular. It was definitely not as good as the first one. But there is a good movie in there. It's just at the end of the day, it didn't really need to be made. What they were attempting to do kind of fell flat. Just didn't work. I don't think it was received right. Because I think people were expecting this whole, it's the Joker. He's going to be the Joker. Woo. I don't know why I did like that. But it's more of like, because by the end of it, it's kind of an aversion on the audience of taking away the power of the Joker, which is what the whole thing is that he rejects. Oh, spoiler.
Do
you? Don't want it?
Well, just don't.
Just don't say it?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of have to say what I'm going to say.
Well, you can't say it then. You can't spoil it. It just came out on streaming.
That's why I'm saying spoiler, and then I was going to wait a minute, and people can fast forward a minute.
All right.
And you know what? You ruined it. You ruined it. Lead us in.
This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is
Tommy and Jacob's mixtape. You'll find out sometime.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back. Welcome back to TJ's mixtape. I'm Tommy. That's Jacob.
I'm Jacob.
This is a movie review podcast. We talk about movies, who's in them, who made them, kind of go over some themes and ideas of the movie, and then give it a rating at the end. The rating is arbitrary. It's just a nice way to end it. So if you love the movie and we did it, don't take it personally. We don't care that much.
I don't.
I don't.
Do you not?
Well, because I keep bringing up what's his face?
Yeah, you keep bringing up some people.
That's just curiosity. I'm like, when was the breaking moment? You know?
But we also have a little game we like to play.
Yeah.
It's
So
a new game.
It's
It's called What's in My Mouth? Or Who's in My Mouth? Who's in My Mouth? That's an old joke.
I do like the what's in your mouth.
Yeah.
For all the dog parents out there.
Yeah,
What's in your mouth?
Goddamn, right?
So yeah, it's a connections game. So we take two actors and then find a way they are connected via the titles they've been in and co-stars.
So big rules that we didn't fully explain. TV shows we don't include. We're just doing movies strictly.
And we tried to avoid the Marvel universe.
We try to avoid really any large franchise.
Yeah, but Marvel universe is the one that we find to be the
Yeah.
most common ground
Yeah.
because everybody's been in a Marvel movie.
It's
now.
like Harry Potter. Try to avoid it, but sometimes that's
Harry
a really
Potter
good
has
one.
a caveat though because everyone is English.
Yeah.
So that makes it
Yeah.
a little narrow. Marvel's like, come on down.
Well, it's also 8 movies versus fucking
27
something. Yeah.
whatever. It's probably more than that, honestly.
I think it's like 20. Oh, yeah, it might be up to 30. Oh, close to 30 now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But our two actors that we got, if you're listening last week, was Gary Oldman to Eddie Murphy.
which was a very interesting one because I was breaking my brain trying to do it. I did get two connection.
Oh, wow. Yours is way quicker than mine.
2 connection without IMDb, and then I found one that was a 1 connection via IMDb because I was convinced that there was a person that did a movie with both of them. But this was a hard one because how Gary Oldman is a little bit all over the place as an actor, but he's a very serious actor, you know. But like he'll do some comedy, he'll do drama, he does a little bit of everything. Eddie Murphy is strictly like just comedy more than anything. And they're both such like, especially Eddie Murphy. If Eddie Murphy is in a movie, he is the top billed person, you know? And then there's no one ever really to the same caliber. Like Robert De Niro is like one of the few that I can think that were like on, you know, and Steve Martin. Like, it's just like, it's a different world of cinema that Eddie Murphy does. So this is a really fun one to do. But my 2-person connection that I came out of my head with was Gary Oldman in Fifth Element with Lee Evans. Lee Evans is in There's Something About Mary with Cameron Diaz, and Cameron Diaz is in Shrek with Eddie Murphy.
Huh.
The one that I found through IMDb is Tom Lister Jr. He's the president in Fifth Element with Gary Oldman, and he's a minor role in Beverly Hills Cop 2. And I was sitting there thinking about Tom Lister Jr. I was like, he has to have done a movie with Eddie Murphy. He has to have. For how long his career was, he has to have done something with Eddie Murphy. And then I found he's done 2 movies with Gary Oldman. He also did The Dark Knight with Gary Oldman.
Oh, yeah, he's the prisoner.
Yeah, he's the prisoner that throws the thing, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. My 2 was Lee Evans to Cameron Diaz. Boom. What do you got?
Oh, okay.
Did you not want to share yours?
No, sure. It's just longer, very much longer.
Hey, that's fun too. Because that means you were like really...
Yeah,
and you connect, and you really remember like it's like Charlie.
So Gary Oldman is in Kung Fu Panda 2.
Okay, he's only in the second one.
He's only in the second one. He's the bad guy in the second one.
Okay.
And then which he's in with Jackie Chan.
Okay.
Jackie Chan is in Shanghai Noon with Luke Wilson.
Owen
Wilson. With Meet the Parents of Robert De Niro, and then Robert De Niro's in Showtime with Eddie Murphy.
With Eddie Murphy. Damn, nice.
I really had to tap in there because I thought of Kung Fu Panda, and I was like, oh, that might be the one because there's so many people in Kung Fu Panda because everyone in that's like a name actor.
Yeah. That's another one of those franchises.
Yeah, that I was like, okay, there has to be some kind of connection there. And then I went to Jackie Chan because he did the buddy comedy thing for so long, which also Eddie Murphy did. So I was like, okay, there's only like 15 people really that they used in this era for that.
The amount of like Chris Tucker and Eddie Murphy kind of being like interchangeable
for their buddy comedy thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, and then I thought of Showtime, and I was like, okay, so Robert De Niro. So how are we gonna get to Robert De Niro?
Dude, I was like, has Robert De Niro and Gary Oldman never done a movie together? And they haven't. I was just like kind of.
You looked it up?
Yeah.
Really?
Because that would have been the quickest connection.
That's kind of weird. I mean, I feel like that's a lot of...
And then I was trying really hard to figure out like a connection with like Anthony Hopkins to Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. Okay.
And then John Lithgow. But today, we're doing the end of the anachronism. Man out of time. Not man lost in time.
Man out of time.
Man out of their time.
With a review of...
Idiocracy.
2006's Idiocracy.
Good old button to the end of this from our especially
what's been happening
weeks.
What's been going on. You don't know. I don't know. Lucky you. But yes, for those of you that don't know, Idiocracy. An average man awakes in the year 2505 to find America has sunk into a below average sinkhole of stupidity.
Yeah. I enjoyed this a lot more when I was younger.
I have a weird relationship with it because, as you know, I hated this movie.
Yeah.
And I still don't care for it.
Fair.
But I don't hate it anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
You know
what made you unhate it?
I just don't think I'm as pretentious as I was when I was younger.
Oh yeah, fair.
I think that especially if you're a cinephile, a youth cinephile film person, you can fall very easily into
you can fall into a couple different like areas,
crowds,
and
know?
Like I was part of that cinephile where it was like the satire of this, like this, the commentary on this on our current American climate is so genius. So that's where I was at when I was a kid, and people didn't like it. I was like, then you just don't understand it.
Yeah, like you don't get Fight Club. Okay,
yeah.
You know, like, and I think that. Sorry, I think I got hot there. I think that the premise is interesting, and also I have a very weird relationship with satire. I'm very particular about it, and I think that in the core DNA of this, it's an interesting concept. It's just too juvenile for me.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where...
Just for me. And again, this is just my opinion.
It is. Well, it's unforgivably juvenile.
No, but
that's also kind of the point.
But I think that
but I still, like, nowadays, I'm just like, man, this is kind of rough to...
Well, that's just like, I want to be clear, too. Me saying it's juvenile comes off in a sense of like a negative thing. It's negative for me.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't judge anyone that's like, oh, I really like that movie. Be like, cool, good for you.
This is kind of like an old Facebook post that you look back on, you cringe.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to share this? No. No, I don't.
I remember when I used to talk like that, and I would
really like you to forget that, Facebook, actually. Can we, like, scrub that from the internet forever? That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, man. Sometimes those things pop up.
Oh,
Ooh.
man.
Woof.
Like,
Different time.
all right. Well,
Different person.
so this came out. Okay, so it had a limited. That's a weird release. Limited release September 1st, 2006. But the studios didn't want to give it a full theatrical release because they didn't want it to have like a proper critic review.
Yeah, it's kind of like Fox said, okay, yeah, you can make this, and then watched it and went, it's too late to stop it, but we're going to go ahead and put some speed bumps along the way is kind of what it feels like. That's just
It definitely feels, and they kind of used, and we'll get into writer-director as well, they kind of use Mike Judge's previous film, Office Space, which didn't really take off in popularity until it hit DVD VHS. So they were like, okay, let's just do a limited release, and then we're going to get our money back through VHS and DVD sales. DVD is going to be where we get our stuff back.
Yeah.
And we know there's going to be a cult following for this because it's Mike Judge.
And everything. He's got a band of followers.
Yeah. So they're just like, oh, well, let's... And so they like pulled marketing. Yeah, it's just very much like, oh, twiddling their thumbs. Yeah, Mike, that's really, really wonderful. Yeah, we're going to put in 200 theaters.
Well, I mean, since we're there, the director is Mike Judge.
Mike Judge.
Beavis and Butthead.
Creator of Beavis and Butthead. Creator of King of the Hill.
Extract with
Jason
Bateman.
Writer and director also, and creator of Silicon Valley, which I didn't know. Yeah. I wrote down Idiocracy under his thing like I wasn't reviewing Idiocracy. Durr. Welcome to Costco. I love you.
I liked that one a lot.
Right?
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
Yeah, Mike Judge. I mean, he likes to do social commentary. It does bleed a little bit into maybe some political stuff, but it's more of like politicals from a point of view of a character, not necessarily his specific political views. Mike Judge has fought very hard to keep his own personal political views kind of unknown. A lot of people feel that he's very libertarian. I wouldn't be surprised if he is. I really I've always liked his style of humor because it's juvenile enough by being aware of its juvenileness.
Yeah, but this one, I don't know. I feel like it was all very, at least in the other two. I'm not a big Beavis and Butthead fan, so I can't really speak on that. But Office Space and Extract, I would say, are two movies I really enjoy. Mm-hmm. And this is probably the bottom of the totem pole if you're going to talk about that trilogy, in a sense. It's not a trilogy, but you know, those three movies. Because it's just really in your face, and it's like there's a lot of subtlety to Office Space.
There is a lot of subtlety to Office Space.
And even Extract.
Yeah. And there's no subtlety at all to this. This is very much like, boom!
It's like almost like slapsticky in moments.
I guess it's almost more farcical.
Well, I don't know. The slapsticky I think of, and the avalanche, and now he's in the house, and then as they're talking, he pulls down his pants to sit on the toilet.
Yeah.
It's very shticky slapstick to me, so which is fine.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know.
It's just it's very different. It's weird. Is that by theme and commentary, it's very much Mike Judge, but by actual things happening and things happening, execution, I guess. It doesn't fully feel like Mike Judge. Well, it does, yeah. It feels like it's Mike Judge doing something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Let's go into, he also wrote this, but he also had his co-writer, Etan Cohen, who I realized he wrote Brothers.
Yeah, which I liked.
Brothers, which when I saw that, I thought it was Ethan Cohen, as in the Cohen brothers, on the screen. I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of this. And when we got halfway through it, I was like, this kind of does have like feels like a Cohen brothers-esque story, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And you were like, yeah. And little did I know, I was talking like a fucking fool. But Ethan Cohen, also Beavis and Butthead, writer on Tropic Thunder, Holmes and Watson.
Tropic Thunder hasn't come up in a minute.
Yeah, it hasn't. I was thinking about that. Yeah.
If you are newer, there was a period there where for some reason Tropic Thunder would just
every other episode.
Yeah, it was constantly coming up because there was some kind of weird connection to it. I don't know why. It was totally by accident. We're just like, Tropic Thunder again, like in the conversation.
We need to get out of the Thunderdome.
But yeah, Brothers is a new one with Peter Dinklage and Josh Brolin. I keep wanting to say Cena. I don't know why.
John Cena?
His vibe in that was just so John Cena. It's like I could really have replaced him.
The large, bumbling...
Yeah, just the peacemaker kind of, you know.
Side tangent. Did you watch that John Cena one recently where he like is with Zac Efron? Where he's like they hire him to be a made a friend.
Oh yeah. Something Ricky
Ricky
Sanchez.
Yeah. That was fucking funny.
It was pretty funny.
That's a funny movie.
Oh, and then his other one with Aquafina, the lottery one. Did you
that one was fun too.
That was really fun. Yeah. I just put that on randomly and really enjoyed it. I was like, it's fun when you go into a movie knowing zero expectations, and you're just like, okay, that tickled something in my brain. Like that got there.
Oh yeah.
He's also a writer. I just like to throw out on Bad Guys, which was that heist kids movie, animated one. Yeah, it's pretty cute. It's fun.
Well, let's get into who's in the freaking movie. Turn the page. Wash your hands.
So our two leads. We're starting off with Luke Wilson, who plays Joe, or not sure.
Oh yeah. Also, that's funny. His name is Joe because an average Joe.
Yeah, it's kind of what I'm talking about. Well, as soon as they said his name was Joe, I was like, oh, he's an average Joe.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it's a little on the nose, but it's fun. Fine. Fuck me.
You're doing exactly what I told them not to do. Don't take it personally. I just don't give a shit. Anyways, Luke Wilson, brother of Owen Wilson. I really like Luke Wilson a lot, actually.
I do too.
I'm pleasantly surprised.
He's 95 acting credits.
Yeah,
he's in a lot of stuff, and I actually really haven't seen a lot of the stuff that he's done.
No, same.
I feel like I've seen a good amount, but Old School, obvious. I mean, a lot of people have seen Old School. I really love Old School.
Legally Blonde.
Oh yeah, he is in Legally Blonde.
Something called Vacancy, which has been on my list to watch for 6 million years, and I'd never gotten around to it.
Same. Royal Tenenbaums, Bottle Rocket. He's kind of in the Wes Anderson clan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, isn't
Owen Wilson is as well.
Too, yeah. Mm-hmm. She's got all those Olsen brothers.
They just fit that aesthetic really well.
Oh, actually, real quick, I have him open. Does his brother have one of those?
What do you mean?
Other brother?
Huh?
Andrew Wilson.
Oh, is that we never confirmed that?
No, I did. I looked it up after.
Oh, it is an actual brother?
He's the oldest brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Andrew Wilson is the oldest brother, and he has a little cameo in this. I'm looking up his movies. He's in Showtime.
Interesting.
That's weird. Oh yeah, here we go. He's in the Royal Tenenbaums as Father Farmer Tex Hayward.
That's a small role.
Yeah, but I mean he's in it.
Luke Wilson also in an episode of the X-Files. Just got to call it out when it's there.
He's also in Never Been Kissed. Oh, he's actually been in a lot of stuff. It's just little bit pieces.
It's probably like Luke Wilson, Owen Wilson on a thing, and they're like, "Yeah, just bring my brother along." Wow.
Which Olsen's in Never Been Kissed?
Isn't Luke? Oh no, I'm getting Home Fries confused.
Yeah. No, it's
Never Been Kissed is another handsome dude that kind of looks like Cyclops, but isn't.
Another handsome dude looks like Cyclops, but isn't. You mean Scott Summers? Cyclops?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Looks like a Cyclops. I don't know. I just wasn't sure.
Looks like a Cyclops.
I was just clarifying.
He's got one eye and he kisses Drew Barrymore.
That's another wild movie. Never Been Kissed. You're not a teenager in high school?
Thank God,
Bitch.
Oh,
No, the teacher, he gets all, you lied to me. It's like, good.
well,
Good.
Yeah.
It's good that she lied to you.
Yeah, but then he's like, by the end of it, he's like, well, it's a good thing because I wanted to fuck you.
So now I won't get in trouble.
You ruined the fantasy.
I've got boobies. Okay. Anyways, and then sorry, that was
Let's go on to Maya Rudolph.
Maya Rudolph, who plays Rita.
SNL alum. Bridesmaids.
I've only really known her in her older career, and not saying she's old. I'm saying like
Later career.
But yeah, Bridesmaids, Sisters, which is probably my favorite of that bubble of like Bridesmaids, Sisters, Baby Mama.
Yeah.
You know, I think Sisters.
I mean, she's definitely going to be in whatever, like any. Yeah. She's probably going to have a cameo if Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, or Kristen Wiig are doing a movie. She's either going to be a character.
She's the neighbor. She's she's at the she's at the coffee shop. Something.
She's also a big voice actress. I think
I think she's going to be doing the new Golden Girls.
Oh, awesome!
I think she's going to be someone in that. Go ahead.
A Big Mouth. I was going to say.
Oh yeah.
She's the hormone monstress. And then multiple other voices. What?
I just don't see it on here.
But maybe it's kind of under wraps still.
Maybe. Yeah, they could still be very much working on it.
Now, next we got Dax Shepard, or the clone of Zach Braff. I don't know. They look almost identical to me.
Frito. He plays Frito. He's in Let's Go to Prison, which I remember really liking.
I've never seen that.
I remember that movie. It probably, one of those never get made today, but...
I think his most well-known role might be Without a Paddle.
Yeah.
I think he's in Zathura.
Well, yeah, I just can remember. Yeah.
Or maybe Employee of the Month.
I forgot about that movie.
He's the bad guy or the antagonist to Dane Cook.
I get what you're saying, but I think maybe it's just our age. But I think Without a Paddle first, and then Employee of the Month, because if you hate Dane Cook, you're not going to go see his movie.
Fair.
And he was really, when this was out, was pretty polarized on if you liked him or not. So it's very possible that if you
hate... You're not an American if you don't like Dane Cook. That's an old joke.
If you... I'm in college! If you hate... That's, you know what I mean? If you hate Dane Cook, you didn't see Employee of the Month.
Yeah.
Which is a really funny movie, actually.
Yeah, it is.
But also in that 2000s problematic era. But there are some...
Jessica Simpson. I got weird ears.
Yeah. She's going to be like a singed koala looking for an all-night burn center.
Harlan is wild all the time.
In that movie, it's more of the side characters.
Yeah, Andy Dick and Harlan Williams.
Yeah, and even Andy Dick is really funny.
Speak like us.
Are you staring at my breasts? I don't know. Yeah. He's so blind. He's like, I have no idea. I thought that movie was funny.
I own that movie on DVD, actually.
This is a 2001 Honda. How dare you?
Anywho, Dax Shepard might be most known to be married to blonde Veronica Mars. What's her name?
Sarah Marshall.
Yeah,
I always forget her because of that movie. In my brain automatically
Kristen Bell.
Yeah. Sarah Marshall. Because she's an actress in that movie, and you know what I mean. My brain just can't remember her real name. She's just
Sarah Marshall or Veronica Mars.
Yeah, forever. And then I just put up next because
Terry Crews.
Yeah, I love him. Terry Crews, who plays President Camacho.
It's a weird. No, Dwayne something. I like. They purposely did. He's a ex-pro wrestler. First name Dwayne. It's kind of on the nose.
Now
a little too real now ish.
The Netflix documentary.
Well,
Terry Crews, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, White Chicks,
Expendables,
Sixth Day, which I didn't realize he was in that, and I've brought that one up before. It's that weird Arnold Schwarzenegger clone movie.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one.
Whenever we do a clone movie, I want that to be thrown in the mix somewhere.
Yeah. Ooh, what's Multiplicity? All right, and
That'd be comedy, action. And then
Yeah.
you think of it, Prestige.
Or do I want to say that for the twinsies?
Well, because it's both technically, I guess.
Yeah. Anywho, and then
I still real quick.
Like,
I still don't agree.
Schmitzes.
I need to rewatch that movie because I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
with Illusionist and Prestige.
Oh, never mind. Scrap it later. I misheard you. I heard you. I misunderstood.
Are you talking about the twins with Christian Bale?
Yeah. No, we're not. Shh. Skip. Go. Next. No, seriously, this will turn into a thing. For a while. I'm just nipping it right now. Nope.
When's the last time you watched The Prestige?
I don't know. No. I said no. Move on. We're not doing that right now. I'm not doing that.
I have a list of shout outs.
Okay, go.
Quick. Justin Long, Justin Long, David Herman, who's also in Office Space, Thomas Hayden Church for 15 seconds as he's the CEO of Brondo.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah Rue, who's Attorney General. She had her own sitcom. She was in Big Bang Theory. Redhead, big boobs. Stephen Root plays the judge in this. He's also in Office Space. It was just kind of like David Herman and Stephen Root, and then I think there was probably a couple of people who just seemed like people that Mike Judge likes to work with. But yeah, those were just kind of like a strew of like popping people throughout the because Mike Judge has a big enough of a following, obviously from Beavis and Butthead, and then of course Office Space, the big hit it was, underground cult hit it was. There's probably a slew of people. It's like if you're, it's like, and you want to be in the next Mike Judge project, if you're like, yeah, it'd be awesome. It'd be great to work, do some Mike Judge stuff, depending on the person. Some people want to be like, don't want to do Mike Judge.
I will not belittle myself with.
I don't know if it would go that far, but maybe they would.
I can see it.
Cool.
Con Julio. DB for my bung. Check it out. That chick's got boobs.
Yeah, boobs. I like boobs. Anyway, they ready for reviews?
Yeah.
That was a dumb fucking segue. Jesus.
What?
No, sorry, not segue. Just we just got lost in Beavis and Bud for a second.
Yeah, that's easy.
So on IMDb, this got a 6.5. It's almost the same as Kate and Leopold. I was like, oh, okay. And then very interesting. Rotten Tomatoes a little bit higher for stuff. I'm really curious what you're gonna come with. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Since there really wasn't, any like proper critic review, I guess.
No, there was.
Okay, it's just like, I don't know. It was just like very weird how they talked about the release. I was like, well, what was the critic reviews then? Because it's got a 71% tomato meter and then a 61% popcorn. So it seemed to be relatively positively reviewed, critically enjoyed in ways.
Mm-hmm.
And audiences were kind of like, yeah,
sure. This is interesting. So with the critic reviews, it kind of felt like also they were spanned over time. Like some people looking back on it, in hindsight, retrospective.
I mean, that makes sense. A retrospective happened, especially in 2017.
Yeah. And this movie did make a full kind of resurface with Trump's initial running. People were like, holy shit, Idiocracy's happening.
Yeah.
But so interesting enough. So this has a 66 on Metacritic, which comes to generally favorable, with 8 positive, 4 mixed, and 0 negative. That tripped me out. Saying that though, the mixeds do get low,
yeah,
but they never get into the red. So let's see.
Of course, they never get into the red.
So the tippy top with a 91 at the AV Club by Nathan Rabin. There's a good chance that Judd's smartly lowbrow Idiocracy will be mistaken for what is satirizing, but good satire always runs the risk of being misunderestimated.
Can you also do date, like when it was released?
These don't have the date on the...
Okay, never mind then.
Let's see if it...
Sorry for...
Yeah,
Yes.
this doesn't.
Okay.
This doesn't have the date. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Yes, yes.
Usually I've noticed like that, like just that when I just opened up the link and the link is no longer there. So I feel like that was probably written
early,
more closer to it.
Or it was pulled in the last couple of days.
True. Everything about Idiocracy has been pulled. Watch, you can't stream it anymore.
Oh God, what's gonna happen to us?
And then I wrote down a note of Village Voice. So let's see why. Village Voice gave an 80 by Bilge Ibery. 10 years. Oh yeah, that's why. Okay. 10 years later, Idiocracy's real achievement isn't how much of it has come true, but how much it continues to disturb.
Sorry, say that one more time.
10 years later, Idiocracy's real achievement isn't how much of it has come true, but how much it continues to disturb.
Fair.
And then interesting enough too, all pretty much so there are for the mixed there are 2 60s and the rest are 40s.
Okay.
So, well, 2 and 2. So we did the Chicago Reader by J.R. Jones, who gave it a 40. Judge races through some of his most provocative ideas in the opening minutes and ignores his story's main logical inconsistencies. The movie is bracing for its bile, but ultimately more frustrating than funny.
I wonder what they mean by frustrating. Like, is it frustrating narrative-wise that he's focusing more on the humor than the narrative, or frustrating in the commentary being a really good reflection of what's happening or what could happen? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just,
Well, I mean, that's kind of a good segue into just getting into it. So,
yeah.
So our movie follows Joe, who's an average Joe, and he is in the military, and across the board is average in everything.
Yeah.
Intelligence, like every test they have. So like, hey, he'll be perfect for this new experiment.
It's a fun bit.
Where this experiment is, the military wants to save their greatest and brightest for future situations. And then him and Rita, who is a prostitute, are going to be the test subjects.
She does a little this, little that.
The test subjects, because they're so unimportant that if it goes wrong, they don't care, basically.
Yeah, they have no immediate family. Yeah, just no one.
Yeah, they're utterly alone. No one's going to come looking for them. And the military can make Joe disappear, and she's a prostitute. So I guess the idea is that
you can make a prostitute disappear.
they can make a prostitute disappear, I guess. Is the joke. It's weird. Saying it out loud.
People my age from Spokane know how easy that is.
I think any true crime person.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
yeah.
It's like I didn't realize how bad of a joke that was until I said it out loud. And I was like, oh, I didn't really think about it.
It's like, oh, there's a lot of truth in that.
Yeah, and it's sad.
And now I'm sad.
Now I'm sad. So yeah, and then basically, and these kind of situation comes up, and they're lost to time for 500 years. When they awaken, like I said in my little synopsis, America, and I want to say that very specifically, they never talk about the world.
The rest of the world.
Which makes sense, though, because of now what the society has become. That's not, we are 100%, let them kill each other off. Let them do whatever they're doing. America specifically has just completely divulged into Idiocracy.
Yeah, what is the term? I forgot to write it down.
What?
That's like kind of like the big theme of this. Is it dysgenics? The decrease of prevalence of traits deemed either. So yeah. So it's a dystopian society based on dysgenics. Dysgenics refers to any decrease in the prevalence of traits deemed to be either socially desirable or generally adaptive to their environment due to selective pressure, saving their reproduction. That's not the exact one I was looking for, though.
But yeah. they are now all stupid.
Yes, they are. Trying to find. You can talk if you want.
I don't know. I'm waiting for you to finish your thought. I think just Gen X works just fine.
Fine. There was another thing I wanted to say. Just Gen X.
Well, you don't have it handy. But yeah, so basically intelligence is just like it kind of feels like
if you're it kind of like leads to this thing is that what did I write? I think I actually wrote something about that. It's about like this devolution of critical thinking, and then anyone that really like applies any type of sense of critical thinking speaks in any type of like complete sentence or thought is kind of viewed as it's kind of like the smart kid gets bullied into not wanting to do anything.
Yeah, it's a bunch of meathead jocks kind of thing, I did make an observation that it does look like in this future racism has been conquered.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. No one sees that anymore because they don't have the intelligence they don't understand the systemic oppression that's broken them down.
Yeah, that's just
because everyone's oppressed now.
Yeah, there's Terry Crews plays the president. Like, no one has anything fucking to say about it. It's crazy.
They're all they just see human,
big buff human. I actually like when he pulls out the gun and he has the seal of the president on it. I was like,
I wonder if Terry Crews had fun wearing that wig.
I know. I saw a clip of him recently where he was talking about how he had hair. He has hair. He just shaves it all off.
Yeah.
What?
So that was long. He didn't have straight long hair like that. Probably.
No. I'm just saying he. I thought he was bald.
Or just bald?
Yeah, I thought he was bald.
I mean, most people that are bald actually just shave their head.
What? In the clip, he says he can still grow hair. He just does bald.
Does he? Does he have any type of like male pattern baldness?
He didn't mention that. He's like he had a beautiful flat top, and then he shaved it off for something.
Training day, probably.
Yeah, training day. I think he shaved it. And his wife was like, "What the hell?"
He's like, "It's for a roll."
Yeah, whatever it was. I was just like, oh. And then
Terry says it's for a roll.
And then Terry's going to get that roll.
That's Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Anywho.
He looked good, though. Anyways, he looked good with the flat. It was a really clean flat top.
Yeah, I mean, so what I have written down is like an unapologetic commentary on the de-evolution on critical thinking. And that's kind of what this entire movie is. When you start to really get into the nitty-gritty of like the storyline, the narrative, and the plot points, the movie kind of, there's a lot of plot holes. There's a lot of goofiness. There's a lot of just eat your carrot. I almost said eat the banana. I don't know why.
That would work for this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's not really what the movie is about. Although it does kind of like now, it is a little distracting now. And I think a big thing is that there's just so much. When this movie came out, obviously this wasn't a fresh idea, a dystopic, stupidity, a dystopic future of stupidity. But I feel like it did come out at a time where it wasn't really as thought about as much.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like a lot of the time the satire is a lot about the gimmick, like even... I don't really particularly care for this movie, but like the invention of lying.
Yeah, that movie is freaking... I really like that movie. But that movie is such a critical look on religion, though.
Well, yeah, but it's still... What I mean is kind of like in this way. Like Joe, or not sure is able to... He kind of lies. They're so stupid, he has to lie to them to get them to go along with things because they're so lost in their ignorance that they can't see through the tunnel.
Brondo, it has what plants crave. Plants crave.
That was a funny, like, roundabout never ending.
It's like they can't come
circular conversation.
They just can't let go of the fact that Brondo has electrolytes.
Yeah.
It's what plants crave.
But it's like, that whole premise of the invention of lying is really interesting. And I think that maybe it's just because it's aged. This, like you said, this wasn't a really fresh idea. It kind of, I think, okay, well, actually, you said it's not really a fresh idea.
It wasn't a fresh idea, but it was so unapologetic with what it was doing. And I feel like in 2005, this is still the middle, towards the end of the Bush administration. And a lot of people in more right-wing people, right-wing, liberal, more right-wing, I forget which side's which.
Right's conservative, left is liberal.
More left-wing. Oh, yeah, it's alt-right and then extreme left. Yeah, okay. Left-wing, I keep going like this too. Left-wing people are kind of like baffled that we would have a president like George W. Bush, and just the ridiculousness and like kind of stuff that he would say and do, be on a golf cart, be like something, I forget what exactly it is, but he's like doing some weird like talk about patriotism. Now watch this drive. Like,
he tried to give Stevie Wonder a high five. That's my favorite.
It's just like, and so there's this whole sense of kind of like a loss of identity in America then that's just kind of like, wow, we're not really holding intelligence to this high standard. So when you look at this and the extreme nature that he's writing about the soul, and also just like, the rise of reality TV, like this is the time when TMZ is becoming super popular. The octotuplet fucking parent. Octomom, thank you. Reality TV stars are a new thing, and like Britney Spears and Lindsay Lohan and like all of the, it's just like there's such this big rise of new culture that seems very uneducated, very, what are you doing?
Counting how old I was.
Okay. Very like new, and it's probably very impressionable for people your age then, because you would have been like 14, 15, 16.
Well, I was just thinking about the fact of like I'm thinking about that, the Bush administration and that whole narrative. So I was 14 at the time. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. I was like, I remember that. Now, the whole Bush thing too is really interesting in comparison, because that was a really big deal in the sense of how polarized people were getting.
Yeah.
Because people were like, yeah, Bush, and other people were like, Bush is an idiot.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? But in comparison, it's like that was just a warm-up lesson.
Exactly.
To what has become.
Exactly. So you got to think about like when this movie came out, it was in response to that time period.
Yeah.
So there was a flash of that happening then, and especially like what's happening in popular culture, is there is this sense of things being, dumbed down, there seems to be like now there's a penis pill for everything that's happening. It's weird is that it's like everything that this movie was making fun of at that time was kind of like a newer thing to make fun of. And now it's like this is the regular thing to make fun of.
Well, yeah, and it's also like I think that maybe it's just that's what it is. This movie now still has that element, but for a satire, it's also missing certain things. Like this world is kind of missing the fear mongering. The Idiocracy world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of missing it's not very, it's a very goofy world. It's not very scary.
No.
And even the people that are in the situations they're so stupid, they're not even really realizing that there's a panther in the room,
Yeah.
They're just kind of sitting there like, huh, kitty.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they get mauled,
Is there any water? I just want some water. Like from a toilet?
Yeah, they're just like completely... What is it? Turned into troglodytes, or what is it? The pre-human
Neanderthal?
Or the other one?
Trogdor?
Right?
And he comes to the
Troglodyte? Whatever. I'm sitting here trying to sound smart.
I'm pretty sure a troglodyte's a type of like weird like lizard thing.
I thought a troglodyte. Whatever. I'm done. I tried. I failed epically.
A Miata? That's a car.
Fiat.
Fiat.
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
I got my law degree here. You got your law degree at Costco? I don't know. Lucky, right?
It's just, what are we at? Actually?
Like 46.
Oh. Well, it's just like this movie. Yeah, I don't know. It's really weird. I just have a really weird relationship with satire. And this one does not make the Tommy list of satire.
That's fair.
And it's not, again, nothing against anyone. It just didn't tickle my pickle.
Well, and like I said, I liked this a lot more when I was younger. You know, like this came out, I saw it, in 2006 or 2007 or 2008. So I would have been like in my early 20s.
Yeah.
Or like late teen, early 20. And I was just kind of completely like, wow, this is what the future looks like. Little did I know.
Well, I mean, you knew me in my 20s.
Yeah.
And I remember we talked about this, and I was just really too full of myself.
Yeah.
So I was really mean about it. And I apologize.
It's fine. It's all right. But I also, I definitely have looked back at this movie with rose-tinted glasses. Okay. And I still appreciate the commentary and the satire, but it was a harder rewatch because it is also still such a reflection of 2006 with its dialogue and just like its constant, drop of many things.
Oh, I was excited. I was like, he's gonna do it.
He's gonna say it. He's gonna say it.
And he didn't say it.
Use of the N-word, R and F. Many N-word right at the beginning when the doctor comes in. Is like,
oh, yeah.
What's up, my?
I was even like, whoa,
Jesus.
It was so jarring. I forgot about that. Like, where the fuck did that come from?
I mean, it's only once, but still, just kind of like, Jesus.
It was, yeah. It was like,
and that's even before they go to the 500 years.
It was like future. A knife on a chalkboard. It really got your attention because of who was saying it. You're like, jeez.
But like, yeah, it's like I was so caught up at that time with just the satire and the commentary that I didn't really care so much about like the narrative and the story. And now looking at it, it's like you can't have a like that's a big thing. Is like, yeah, there's none of that fear mongering. Like this is kind of like a 2-dimensional look at a future, not a 3-dimensional look at a future.
There's not enough guns. I feel like there'd be a lot more guns.
I don't think you really wanted to go down that road.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe that's what it is. It's like, it feels like that's what it kind of feels like, a satire that was kind of pulling its punches a little bit.
I feel like it feels like it's pulling its punches for today. For 2005, no.
Yeah.
Like 2005, this is crazy.
This is a tangent, but can you just maybe off the top of your head, can you think of another? I'm blanking right now. Another satire movie like this that people still kind of maybe has a cult following or refer to today.
Like that's a newer or like what do you mean?
Just another one. I'm totally blanking on one. I'm trying because I want to put in context just for myself. Another one that's older, and I want to kind of think about it real quick. And just as a reference point, I'm just not thinking of any of them.
I mean, Demolition Man.
That's not what I mean. Like a satire that has satire elements, but it's still a action movie.
Austin Powers.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, that's more parody.
Okay, political satire movie. Like, I don't know. Oh, number Invention of Lying.
Don't Look Up is recent.
Haven't seen that one yet.
You haven't seen Don't Look Up?
No.
Oh.
This is Spinal Tap. That one's still...
It's not very political.
No, I know, but that's
I know. I'm just
Demolition Man's on here. I wouldn't have really old school, I guess. Downsizing.
Interesting. Okay.
That's an interesting point.
That one has a lot of actually capitalist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
such a broad.
When it comes to movies, it's kind of hard. Their stories. I mean, this is kind of a 1984-esque feel without the fear mongering, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. Anyways,
you know where your mind was
No.
with that? I forget what I was saying.
I just went to the Dixie Chicks, not ready to play nice. Well, because that whole song was about everything that we were just talking about. It's about that, and it's just so weird to think like, kind of like now my brain's just kind of stuck on the weird polarization difference of the Bush era to now and everything that's happened in between. You know, because you have
it's like that was still ran by politicians.
Well, and like the Dixie Chicks, I'm not ready to make nice. You know, like that was like an anthem for fuck you.
Yeah.
And then now it's just wild. Get me off this crazy thing called the world. It's crazy. It's weird to think about it.
Woman. Woman.
Thank you. I was actually really worried that I fucked it up and you were like, wait, what are you talking about? Yeah, it's just, and that's something we have talked about in the past too. This era does have the 2000s, you know, the early to mid 2000s have a lot of movies, a lot of which that I'm sure that the younger people, the kids today, see as problematic, and I would agree. A lot of them are very problematic, but it was also a window into the world and the jokes, and especially in the comedy. It was very, you know, in the comedy world, things were way less worried about anything.
Yeah. Well, and I will say, even for this time, like its use of un-PC language, it's a lot of the language was still kind of like if people were to say it, it was kind of like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Nowadays, or people are like, hey, maybe you shouldn't say that. Sorry, back then it was like, hey, maybe you shouldn't say that. Nowadays people are like, whoa, did you really just say that? You know, there's not as much of a...
It was the context of what you were saying. If you were in a room with your buddies and said it, it'd probably be fine. But if you just went to someone on the street and said it, depending on where you were, it wouldn't be. Yeah. You know, it was very much on the context of certain things.
Yeah, but so...
Not defending it, but that's
it's
just what it was.
It's more like, it's so, like, today, especially specifically with the language, very much not like... It's such... It exaggerates the amount that it was used then, which is also the point.
Well, and then also its big thing, too, with this movie is it relies a lot on its potty grossness to get the humor across. Mm-hmm. And I don't really care for that kind of humor in particular. And it was just, I just felt like that.
It's weird because it's like, is it so much using it, or is it more of like a world that Mike Judge created? Is like, well, yeah, they would have if your chair is also your toilet, you wouldn't really be registering to the person you're talking to that you're pulling down your pants to take a dump at the same time that you're talking with them, you know?
Well, yeah, but it's still a joke. It's a joke for us, the audience, in the present. Mm-hmm. So to them, obviously, you can make an argument for any of that, but it's the social norm. So
yeah, exactly.
Totally fine. But for us as the audience, we're supposed to sit there going, ugh. And I was just like, I don't really, meh. I mean, in that moment, the only thing I thought funny was Dax Shepard's way of doing it. Yeah. I was just like completing the conversation. Yeah. Like the idea was funny, but it's just that it didn't, like, I'm being contradictory.
Yeah.
What I mean is like, everything just had this grimy, the sucking on their fingers and the food, and there was
this sense of, I mean, it just
unhygienic.
Yeah.
Trailer park.
That's kind of what it is like. Well, I mean, the very beginning of the movie is kind of like, it's like the world, no, it's not the world, but America has been overpopulated by this group of people, these very highly
I mean, that was funny. I liked that whole family tree thing. I thought that was pretty clever. It was like a fun way of really showing you. And then the other couple. Yeah. And he dies.
Having a heart attack trying to
have a kid. Just like, that's kind of how the universe works, it seems.
Oh, man. It's interesting because we're spending. I mean, and I think this, and we can probably start wrapping it up here. I think it goes to show inherently, like a big thing about this film is like we've spent so much of this episode of our review talking about the commentary and the satire that we haven't even worried about talking about the character journey of Joe, of Rita.
Yeah, because that's not the message. That's not the like.
But I mean, for you to want to watch this commentary, you have to experience it through your main character and what their experience with it is and how they overcome it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's also an interesting look at satire is a risky business in which to write a movie.
Yeah.
Because you're... in a sense, you kind of have to roll the dice and predict the future.
I think what might be the thing is like, and because Mike Judge is a good writer, is a good creator, he's a good world builder. It's particularly, I will say, is these characters are. And even the world, it's weird. It's like he is such a good world builder. This may not be his best world he's ever built. It's like I said, it's very two-dimensional, almost maybe one-dimensional, really. And the characters are that as well. All at the sake, all sacrificed at the sake to make this social commentary. Because when you think about King of the Hill, Hank Hill is a very complex character.
I wouldn't know, but sure, I'll take your word for it.
Okay. I won't say Beavis and Butthead are complex characters, but the world that Beavis and Butthead exist in, that they're constantly commentating on, because it's a reflection of our actual world, is a complex world. Office Space, complex characters.
Really?
For the mundane man, think about it. You know, he's having an existential crisis and like having a case of the Mondays. He gets hypnotized into just not giving a fuck anymore. You know, like they're full out.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think they're pretty for the world that they live in, like for the bubble. Yeah, I think but it's like they're not. I don't know. They're pretty two-dimensional, but that's kind of the point. It's the Mondays. Yeah, the Monday day in day out. You know.
Yeah, I see. But also, I think what makes them complex is the fact that they're questioning what's happening. You know, it's like there is inner conflict.
There's a lot of shit like this in the 2000s. I just realized. Yeah,
it's almost like the people in the 2000s were feeling a little bit lost and stuck as an entire nation. It was a sad time, but we didn't realize it. We did, but we didn't. Now we look back and we're like, oh, we want that again. Yeah, so and I think that's really where I fall with this movie is just kind of it's not some of Mike Judge's best, but it is one of his most striking. I don't think striking is the right word. Most daring. I don't know. It sticks out. It sticks out a little bit more, but it doesn't carry because there isn't the complexities that the other ones have.
Well, I get that, but I think Office Space would have to be it for me because of the fact that he made a movie that's so incredibly boring yet really interesting to watch. You feel it. You feel in that drudge that they're in.
I see what you mean. See, I wouldn't say that movie is boring at all.
Well, it's the concept. It's like, yeah, so it's a movie about three guys.
It's Dilbert, you know?
It's three guys that are work in a office park complex.
Yeah.
And they go to TGI Fridays.
And they rob the company.
And then they end up robbing the company. How? With a virus that steals...
With the Superman 4 virus?
With the Superman 4 virus. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, on paper, you're like... What? No. Get the fuck out of my office. How'd you get in here?
Yeah, but sometimes like when you have such a weird concept like that, you're just kind of like, let me see a script. Like, hold on.
Totally, but you know, but I'm not like I'm just saying on like, you know, that movie does not sound interesting and it's really interesting. Like
well, and that turns into like there's interesting characters, you know, there like are, you know.
Doesn't he say just because it's from a movie doesn't mean it's a bad idea?
Something like that.
Something like that.
But it's like his boss. Yeah, gonna have to ask you to come in on Saturday. It's like there's characters, there's memorable characters. There's a memorable character in this, and that's Terry Crews.
Yeah.
And kind of Frito, I guess. But yeah.
Ugh.
But yeah. I'm ready to.
Yeah, I got nothing else to say about it. I did it again.
Pen?
Yeah.
I see it.
Where? Where?
I'm staring. I'm looking right at it.
Where?
Look at your phone.
Look at my phone. Phone.
It's underneath the pillow.
What? Oh. Is it in here?
That was mean.
Is it in here? What do you want to give it?
Brondo. Fuck. It's like a 2.5 now to me. Wow, okay. You just don't care, do you?
I really don't. Like, not in a rude way, but I really don't have that much of an opinion about this movie because it just feels so. It's
okay,
not my movie.
With what you're saying, I really want you to give it a rating, actually, because it feels like you're just throwing it top to side. I want you to objectively think
1.
where you
5.
would put this movie. 1.5, really?
Yeah.
Why that low for you?
Because I don't like satire movies. No, I just don't. I think that, again, like you said, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and the fact that maybe it's because of when it came out and everything. But it's also like there are satire movies out there. And, I have this list up that I was kind of looking at. And there are satire movies that are older that still really ring true.
Fair.
And this one just feels really dated and it's almost too over the top. It's almost too over the top where it loses its this could happen kind of feel for me. Because it's like it's happening, but it's not happening at the same time.
Well, it's also a weird thing. There's like, this is 500 years in the future. I think the most unrealistic thing is that there's still humans in 500 years, maybe with global warming happening.
Well, like that, like the point of this,
Yeah.
And that's what I mean too. It's like, it's great and everything, but satire, a lot of it is in the, the subtlety and the underneath humor and thought behind it. And it's like everything that has been built in this world.
There's like satire, and then there's satire.
Yeah, that's actually there's satire, and then there's and I like satire, but it's like that, and it's like I know the whole thing is a big carrot, but even then it's like so the world has gotten to this point where here we go, perfect, Wall-E. Boom.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
Wall-E's a good one because, yes, the humans have completely become dependent on machines, but they have also made a system wherein the machines fix the machines. So now they can continue to live on being these lazy pieces of shit because there's something to take care of them. There's nothing here taking care of them. So even then they have these doctor machines and you just press the picture of what's happening. That's really funny, but if there's no one there to fix it, you know what I mean? So it's like the whole food and all that, everything would have come crumbling down. So you have this idiotic society that's running on technology that they don't know how to use, that there is no infrastructure to fix them.
Yeah.
It takes me out. I'm like, okay, this is fair. No longer.
And there's definitely like not that complex of a world. There is a bit of a world that, like I said, like Mike Judge is really good at world building. Like there is like this whole thing of like, you need to have the barcode that creates who you are. Like there is a world that's built in here, but it's not a fully baked one. So I would actually, I'm hearing you. I want to merge it
into it too.
Yes.
Sure. But like even that too, it's like that's what I was saying in the very beginning. It's like I think the core idea is very interesting, but even watching it, I was thinking of along the lines of it'd be kind of fun to rewrite it into a dark horror movie.
Yeah, just a dark comedy. I don't think it needs to be horror.
Well, the fear mongering, I think that's an important element that would need to be injected into this.
A thriller, then.
Like, well, a dark comedy. I think you still need to make it funny, otherwise it's the fucking Purge. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why I was like, no, it can't just be that because it's this is the Purge over again. But if you kind of had this Tucker and Dale versus evil kind of Tucker and Dale plus the Purge.
Tucker and Dale versus the Trump presidency.
Yeah. Tucker and Dale make America great again. I don't know. But, you know, so it's like I see there's something in here I really do like. But it's just the fact that I am more into satire.
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
Yeah, so I'll give it a 2. I feel good with that. I was ready to just throw it in. I don't care. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let you do it. See, and I got a lot.
If you had said a 3, I would have fought you on that. But
I was thinking almost for a second. That's why I wanted you to also, because I was like, I feel like this one is a weird one to like go through the rose tinted glasses.
Yeah. Oh, let's do our. We don't know what we're doing next week. We still have to talk about that. So.
We think we're going to be doing a new movie block within the last 4 or 5 years stuffs.
Connect the Stars, which is the website that we use, gave us Elliot Page and Melissa McCarthy. How do we feel about that? Or do you want to?
I feel like I can do that one pretty quick.
So redo it. You have 3. That's the whatever the third one. You know,
let's do one more.
Okay. You have 3 roles, so this will be the second role. Keira Knightley, Brie Larson.
I could do one more.
Okay, that's the last one. Dakota Johnson to Regina King.
Okay. Dakota Johnson is 50 Shades, right?
Madam Web?
Madam Web, yeah.
Is she in 50? I don't know.
Really?
I don't know anything about that. I know
It's just such a big thing.
You say 50 Shades, and all I hear is Armie Hammer.
Okay, fair. That's fair.
That's the only kind of like association.
Is he the actual guy that did it? I thought it was Charlie
Hunman.
Who's actually the lead actor in it? Was it?
Oh, it's Charlie Hunman.
It was Charlie Hunman.
Yeah.
It originally was Armie Hammer.
I don't know. I don't know. I just.
Why do you connect him then? Sex and cannibalism?
Yeah, like tying up and spanking and.
You got a weird view of BDSM, bro.
Weird view. It's not really like a world that I'm in. I don't really have a view of it. I don't know. I didn't just go, you know what? I'm going to connect the two things. My brain went.
I'm pretty sure he was originally tied to the lead. Okay, Dakota Johnson and Regina King.
Yeah.
All right. Well, people of the internet, thank you for listening.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram and Facebook. On there are promos, and you can see what we're doing coming up, along with a link to our link tree, and on there you can find all of our places that I'm got really tired suddenly. All of our links for YouTube, Apple, Spotify, so on and so forth. If you're just listening to audio, we do have a video of this. If you'd like to see our faces, Jacob's got he's got a brand new mustache. Just bought it yesterday.
A couple of days ago.
But yeah, I think that's everything. Thank you for listening. That was episode 226 of Idiocracy.
226.
This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's Mixtape.
We love you.